Hello, friends. So glad you had tuned in today. Man, today is going to be such a really, really special day. Our guest today is Leah Pacheco. Hey, Leo.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank
You
you.
know, most ladies, when I know them before they're married, their maiden name sticks with me. But today I'm drawing a total blank.
Donahue.
Oh, of course. Yes. I can see your parents.
Yes.
And you grew up in Denison, is that right?
Denison, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Denison, Texas.
And so you've lived in the Dallas area for over 25 years. How many years?
Let's see. So we lived in Waxahachie since I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
about 10 years then. Okay.
Yes, definitely. I knew I loved you.
So, but you grew up in Denison. So tell us about your family.
So my family, my dad and my stepmom live in Denison, and my mom lives in Sherman. And they're doing wonderful, doing so well. And my husband, you know my husband.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Philip Pacheco. We met in college at Southwestern Assemblies of God University. And then
Now known as
Nelson University. Yes. I got to get used to that one.
Little plug there for Kermit and crew, right?
Yes. And together we have 3 beautiful children. So my oldest one is about to be 21. She's a junior at UT Austin.
And what's her major?
She's majoring in journalism, radio, television, film, and advertising.
So she sounds like she could be friends with Chris, right?
Yes.
Chris is behind the camera here today, so she could. Chris, maybe we could get an internship for or something, you know?
That would be awesome.
Just a thought, okay? Just a thought.
And then our second daughter, she's 18. She's about to graduate from high school.
Oh, exciting time.
And then she'll be going off to University of Arkansas next year. I think her.
Go Hogs.
Yes. And then my son is 15, and he's a freshman in high school.
His name is?
Eli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's man of God. That's easy to remember that.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So what sports does he like?
He loves football and baseball.
I know where the football came
Oh,
from.
yes, of course. Go Steelers.
I'm so sorry. Could be worse. Could be a Cowboy fan, you know.
True.
You say he likes baseball too?
He does. He loves baseball.
So he like to play, or he like pro, or?
He likes to play. He hasn't played in a while, but unfortunately we missed the tryouts for this year because they rearranged the schedule. But next year.
Yeah, for sure. So you already mentioned that you went to Southwestern.
Yes.
When it was called Southwestern, but today you went to Southwestern to get a degree to teach.
To
right?
teach, yes. So
you started teaching in Carrollton, am I right?
No, I started teaching in Waxahachie.
Oh, I did not remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I taught at Wildman.
Oh, okay.
Until they closed that school, and then we went to Wedgeworth. I went to Wedgeworth. So I was there for 4 years before I moved to Dallas. So
and then you started teaching where in Dallas?
Then I had gotten my school counselor's degree,
Okay.
and so I became a school counselor in North Dallas, right here in Addison, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Anne Frank Elementary, right down the street.
And so today
I'm still a school counselor, but I'm now in Louisville ISD. So I'm at a school that's actually in Carrollton, but it's Louisville ISD.
What grades?
It's pre-K through 5.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
So, what's the number one challenge for kids that are in your school?
We know a lot's changed since COVID, and that's affected kids and how they respond to each other, the things they say, kind of a lack of empathy that I see in our kids today. A lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. And then, of course, I've noticed a surge in the last year even of just financially parents struggling, families struggling to make ends meet, just with the prices of groceries and just everything's gone up. So,
yeah, it was the church that I was at yesterday. They were talking about it's a poverty mindset, but it's not because the parents aren't working.
Oh no, yeah. No.
It's and it's not even because of. Normally, you think about poverty. For me, anyway, I guess it's because where I'm at. It's drugs, alcohol, things like that. Lack of education. I mean, there are a lot of easy things, but you don't think about. Okay, the mom and dad both are working. and yet same poverty issues. There's not enough money to pay the bills or insurance.
Or they're just getting by month to month and not
at
extra.
best, at best, and the pressure because
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
and it funnels right down to the children.
Kids. Oh yeah.
So, what do you think the biggest challenges that the kids in your school are facing?
I think a huge thing is just the way they interact with each other, because they haven't. A lot of our kids, even now, like it's only been 3-4 years since COVID, and they missed those foundation years in elementary school. A lot of them were home, and so learning how to get along with someone that they would have learned in kindergarten originally, now they're having to learn it in second grade, third grade. So it's kind of like a delay in their social emotional skills. So that's what I've seen a lot, and just empathy, because it's easy to hide behind a screen and say things. And then when you get in person, it's like there's no empathy until you experience that. So
I run into a lot of people, and I had a friend that really helped me with this. He says, that person doesn't have a filter.
Oh, yes. I teach on having a social filter at school. Yes, I do. It's a very important lesson for all of us.
So that's kind of stuck in my mind. I walked in by and going, okay, that person over there, they don't have a filter.
Yeah. I teach the kids all about that. We have our thinking bubble, and then we have our talking bubble, and there needs to be a filter in between. So, yeah, we talk about that.
Yeah. My saying on that is, what were you thinking? Oh, you weren't thinking. That's the problem right there.
True, very true. Very true.
So when you were a student at, by the way, thank you for wearing our colors today.
Oh, yes.
That's even, I don't know if they can see that well on camera today.
One bad Sunday school.
It is. That was that was one thing when Bill first came down, he looked at it. First thing he says, you do realize that bad's not going to last very long. I went, it doesn't matter. I said, it's getting a lot of people's attention right now. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get people's attention.
Yeah, this is the OG right here.
In the church world, they're going, you want to have a bad Sunday school? I said, you don't understand what that means. Okay, trust me. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Always a good thing.
But when you were at Southwestern, you volunteered.
I did.
With us at Metro and visited every Wednesday. We had the program on Thursdays, volunteer meeting on Saturday morning. It would be very easy to run down that, particularly Saturday morning, the Teen Challenge guys, they came every week and they helped us in South Dallas. You look back on some of the things you're doing, you're kind of going, oh, gee, man, that was... what was it? So there's my saying, what were we thinking, right?
True.
And yet God He gave us a lot of grace.
All the way through, for sure.
And those guys, they came and they served. And something that's happened, do you know Darren and Heidi Walker?
Yes.
They've been, she might have, is she your age? Or
she's slightly younger,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, slightly younger.
So she volunteered while they were there, and then when they became youth pastors, they brought groups, and then, of course, they were missionaries for I don't know how many years down in Nicaragua. And then for them to follow Paul and Linda at Teen Challenge, they're doing a really, really good job.
That's amazing.
So, but I was thinking about Teen Challenge. That's why, obviously, because they're directors now of Teen Challenge. But talk to us about Roseland Holmes.
I love Roseland.
Yeah, you love Roseland.
I love Roseland. Yeah, it was a challenge. It was challenging, but I loved Roseland. And I remember when I first volunteered, you're like, oh, you're going to the toughest place in Dallas.
I did.
And I was like, oh, okay. This 19-year-old girl.
The first time I met your dad, he was good. You had better take care of her. I went,
exactly.
Yes, sir. I will.
Absolutely.
And I did.
You did.
You're still here.
I am in one piece, for sure. No, it was never a dull moment, that's for sure, at Roseland Homes. And those girls, we took them to camp. And that first year that I went to camp, I don't know if I'm gonna date myself because it was like 1995 when I went for the first time. Remember, we broke down on the side of the road, for 3 hours.
I remember it. It was only 103.
Oh, it was so
104
hot. Oh, my
outside.
Goodness. And all the kids were hungry and they wanted to, use the bathroom.
And we couldn't get parts to fix the bus.
I know. 3 hours. But you know what? That was just a slight delay for what God did at camp because it was amazing.
Yeah.
We had that, and then we went to Jacksonville. And then, I don't know if you remember this, but the next day we had no water.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had let all the girls in my cabin take a shower that night. And I thought,
Lord.
I'll get it later. I'll do it later. And then, we had no water the next day. But those girls from Roseland, they had so much fun. We had fun.
That day really pushed me to my limits.
It was rough.
Oh, yeah.
It was rough.
I was, once we got the bus going, it didn't help. It was so
hot.
It was. I mean, it was hotter than even normal for here, right? Mm-hmm. And I was so done. And when we got there, Richard, of course, they're kind of twiddling their thumbs waiting for us to show up, right?
Yes.
And so I just told Richard, I said, man, I'm done. I said, I am so done. I said, this is not what I had envisioned for this summer camp. And so I said, let's just feed them and put them to bed. I said, and we'll start tomorrow fresh. And, Richard, so kind-hearted, he went, oh, Pastor Clay, he said, I understand. It's been a hard time. I've had those kind of days. He said, why don't you go take a shower? Mm-hmm. And he said, would it be okay after we fed everybody, if you remember, the only meeting place, it was either in the cafeteria inside or
the outside tabernacle.
with 10 million Texas-sized mosquitoes out there.
Yes.
So we had already made that easy decision. We're having the services in the cafeteria, right? He said, how about if we just take the chairs down and we'll set up the chairs and take down the table, set up the chairs, and then we'll see what God's got. Would that be okay? I said, Richie, you do whatever you want to do. I said, I am done. So he said, we just go take a shower. So I did. I went in and took a shower. And as I'm getting out of the shower, it was like heaven was singing. Where do I go when I need a shelter,
Yes.
Where do I go when I need a friend? And I was weeping. I went, oh, Lord, I'm so sorry. I really messed up today. I did not handle it today. We got here. I said, but that's about it. Yeah. I said, I know you have some. It was an incredible camp.
Oh, it was actually my favorite camp.
Yeah,
of all of them.
Me too.
It was.
It was my only because of the grace the Lord gave me, because I was beyond toast when we got there. I mean, if we tried to put those kids to bed, nobody would have got any sleep that night.
No.
Everybody would have been up all night long.
But there was a great move of God during that camp, so it was
right.
It was
and that was the
amazing.
deal about Jacksonville, and Lakeview is. It's not like it's not like the Lord's not moving at Lakeview, but in Jacksonville, you had the cabins, you had that swimming pool, and I wouldn't even call that a swimming pool. And then they had that old backstop that was barely standing up, So I mean, there wasn't anything to do when you got down there. It's, whatever you brought, that's what you got to do, right?
Yep, those games.
Yeah,
all the games.
Yeah, and in spite of that, the kids they had a great time. It was a really special time. So, you talk about the girls. Is there any one person that kind of grabbed your heart while you're at Roseland?
Well, there were so many.
Yeah.
But I really remember Olivia, and I don't know her last name, but she was little. She was probably maybe 5, and I still have her picture just sitting I kept it at school for a long time just to see her. I wonder really where she is now, because I didn't get to keep up with where she went. But then there was Janet and Dora, and those two, I actually can see them on Facebook, which is fun to catch up and just see their family pictures now. And sometimes we don't know what happens with the seed that's been planted, and I just can only hope and pray that it continues to bloom and flourish, and that they're doing so well today. I hope. So, but yeah, those are the 3 that I can just I remember investing a lot of time in.
Yeah, because our families are so transient, I wonder all the time what happened to them, and did we make a difference? Did we? I mean, our goal obviously is to plant the love of Christ in their life.
Absolutely.
But you don't. So many times, I mean, more times than not, you don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's kind of like being a teacher and a counselor. Like, you see them for that school year and then they go on. So it's kind of like you don't necessarily follow them all along. You just have to trust that what you're doing is making a difference.
Yeah.
Which I believe it is.
The church I was at yesterday, you can see her picture on my Facebook page. Not that I do Facebook, but if I did, you can see her picture on there. She walked up to me after church and she says, "Do you know me?" Oh, yeah. I hate that when people ask you that question, because the next question is they want to, do you know their name?
Yes,
right?
yes.
No, she said, "You probably don't remember me." Said I lived at Rhodes Terrace in the '90s.
Wow.
And she says, "I had no idea that you were still here, because I mean Rhodes Terrace has been tore down
Oh, yeah.
for years,
Yeah.
She said, I was one of those kids that you were talking about."
What a blessing. God let you come in contact with her.
Well, she what I didn't realize, she was a first-time guest to this
wow.
church. So I told her, I said, I don't believe in coincidences. I said, the odds, of me being at this church and you showing up the same day,
It doesn't happen.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't happen.
No.
And yet she said, my parents were both on drugs, no food in the house. All the things that I had talked about that day, it was her.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And she says, I have a great job today. She says, I make more money than what I should be making. She says, and I can tell you that each week I look forward to Dallas Metro. She said, Dallas Metro is what gave me hope.
I love
made
that.
a difference in my life. So the Lord, every once in a while, he
Reminds you.
he opens that door just to let you know, good things are taking place, and God's doing something really, really good.
Well, I honestly feel like Metro did a lot to help me just in my career, too, because, I still do when I go in the classrooms, I still say, let me see you sitting up tall with their arms in their lap and a big Kool-Aid rainbow flavored smile on your face. And the kids just all love that. You know where I got that from. So, yeah, I love it. And just getting to know the kids. And, I feel like it's been such a blessing in my own life. And also being blessed with my own children. I feel like since we invested in so many kids and youth, that I feel like God blessed us.
Yeah.
with our family too. So
The thing that amazed me about you, Lee, a couple of things. One is that you came to Roseland on your own. You drove from the school and walked in by yourself.
Yes.
And you were very, very faithful. And for that, you're my hero.
Oh.
And so each week we try to give the people who are watching a nugget, something they can take home. And so I thought about you coming today, and I had this verse, Luke chapter 16, verse 10. He says, if you are faithful in the little things, you'll be faithful in the large ones. If you're dishonest in the little things, you won't be honest with great responsibilities. If you're faithful in the little things, you'll be faithful in the large things. You have been faithful. You are a tremendous blessing to us. I'm indebted to you for that.
I just love you guys, and I appreciate the opportunity to partake. Because, there was a lot of opportunities at Southwestern for many different things, and I really feel like God just led me to you. And it was always a joy. I was telling my husband earlier that it was always hard to get there, but once you're there, you remember why you're there, and that was never a question.
Yeah. The enemy, just like we know the Lord has victory for us, the enemy also knows the Lord has victory to take place. And so you have to kind of press through that.
Oh,
you know?
yes, absolutely.
And sometimes at Roseland, I saw Richard a couple weeks ago. Richard Condell, you remember
Yes,
Richard?
of course, yeah.
Richard is doing bus ministry down in Nacogdoches and doing really, really well. I mean, really, really well.
That's awesome.
And so he actually came to Roseland in the early years. I mean, and maybe the first or second year. And it was, for us, it was just a normal day, you know.
Yeah.
So he went home and he told his wife, Dottie, he says, that boy's wasting his life, man. He said, I wouldn't. And I tried to explain to him that when you're outdoors, you're on their turf.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
So you have control, but it's a measure of control,
yes,
you know. It's
yes.
not like indoors where you can, you know, there's nothing going on the outside. And I remember like they would do do drug busts. They would take and arrest parents, uncles, aunts, and they did that during the program. And the reason they did that is because they knew the kids wouldn't be there. I went, do you know how hard that is to deal with?
Do you know, one time I think I literally lost my mind because 2 moms started fighting in the middle of the program. And I don't know what possessed me other than the Holy Spirit because I went and I broke them up. And I look back on that. I think 5 minutes later, I was like, "What was I doing?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?" But
Yeah,
I didn't
what
want
were
the
you
kids. I didn't want the kids to see. You know, I was like, "This is not the place nor the time for this." And it actually, only by the grace of God did it work. So
most of the discipline problems at Sunday school, they happen before Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
It very rarely was it something that happened at the program.
Oh, yeah.
It was something that they brought there,
Mm-hmm.
and then who knows what ignited it, but it was happening long before then.
Yeah.
As you know, we are endeavoring to build this long-term permanent facilities for Metro.
That's awesome.
You've seen the building. Each week we're asking people to partner with us on this. Why should people partner with Dallas Metro?
Well, just to keep the dream and the vision going, because we have, there's always going to be that child, and there's always going to be need. And you guys have done so much for even their parents now, and there maybe even some grandchildren. I don't know. But yeah, just to keep it going, because we can't stop.
Right.
Till Jesus comes back, we can't stop.
Agreed. Yeah, there are still children out there that life is extremely challenging for them. And
we have no idea what they deal
No.
with. We don't. We have no idea.
I mean, and even if we did, I'm not sure we could comprehend
It. Mm-hmm.
the.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the young lady yesterday. I mean, it's not the first time I've heard, but most of us don't know what it's like to Again, she said, "Well, when you gave that snack away that day, that's what I had to eat." Well, I did know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it took me. I had to learn that. It's like when our kids go to the refrigerator and they say there's nothing to eat. Well, the truth of the matter is you can't see the refrigerator for everything that's in it, right?
Yes.
Whereas, like at Roseland, when they say there's nothing to eat,
There really wasn't anything to eat. Yeah.
when you open that door, there's a light bulb. That's all that was inside that thing right there.
And you always saw them with their chips and their drink from the corner store.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much their meal for the day.
And the parents buying other things from the corner store, too.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
Lee, it's been so good to have you here
Thank you
today.
for inviting us.
So good to see. Glad you're. Why? Before we close, why do you continue to invest in kids?
Oh, that's a good question. Because they are a lifetime investment.
Yeah.
Our kids are precious.
Yeah.
And Jesus said, "Let the children come to me."
Right.
And so I just love to work with kids. And, sometimes they're a little easier than adults,
Yeah.
I do love adults too, though. I work with adults.
What I found out about adults, many of them are broken children.
Yes. Oh, that's true. There's some wisdom in that.
I've always said, people don't act the way they act because they're born that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's what's happened to them, their environment, and so forth. And so.
And I'm reminded every day, just when I go in, just the kids, their love. You know, they just want love.
Yeah.
And they just love those hugs and
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
just,
Yeah, it was
it's worth it.
when we first started, because, we live in such a legal society today. Now, you can't hug the kids, right? You do what you want to do.
it's true.
If we learn anything from the pandemic, isolation doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
We need community, and we need each other. So, so thank you for being here. Thanks for continuing to invest in the next generation.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Pastor
your
Clay.
friendship. Hey, we're so glad you guys watched us today. Next week, let's just talk about today. We're really at a crossroads in some ways with the facilities. With the plans are all completed. Our general contractors have got the paperwork in their hands, and so they're going to be telling us the exact cost for this. And I know what people say. The economy is not good right now. Interest rates high. Clay, you can't afford to do this. Yada yada yada. Do you have anybody like that in your life? I'm here to tell you that God doesn't care about. He's not concerned about the economy. He's not concerned about the interest rate. Neither am I, because we're believing that through people just like you, God's going to take and supernaturally provide for miracles. So would you go to our webpage today, dallasmetro.org, click on All In, and then click on What is All In, and you'll see the great pictures that Michael has drawn for us and the dream that the Lord has placed in our hearts. And I believe that you're going to help us today. I'm asking, would you even prayerfully consider donating for the next 12 months towards the All In campaign? And as everybody does what God speaks to them to do, He's going to take and provide. We're going to see this miracle happen. Hey, thanks for joining us this week. God bless you. See you next week.